And now we'd like to invite, thank you very much. Thank you. We'd like to invite the Morris Music Band, the director, Mr. Nate Barrett, and also featuring the vocal talents of the voice of the Hanover Symphony, Dr. Jane Sodt. And world famous voiceover actor, Mr. Paul Berman. And this is a combined piece, again, out of the creativity of Miss Elaine Schlatter, involving both of us, entitled A Little Christmas Carol. Please join us afterwards for a reception. It's great to see such a wonderful audience here, and so many people enjoying music with us. Happy holidays. Keep music as part of your holidays. By the way, I know some of you are looking forward to Sleigh Ride, but it's actually been outlawed because they're saying it's a little too violent. You know, it sounds like sleigh, so they've said, no, you can't do it anymore. Give us 1 minute, we'll be set. Now, at the end, you are the townspeople, so feel free to join in. It's like system control. Go for voice. We're launching here. Go for Paul.
I'm good.
This is quite a production. Okay. Cool.
You know, it all began, they say anyway, with a gravestone. In 1841, Charles Dickens, already a famous and celebrated writer, was giving a lecture in Edinburgh, Scotland. While sightseeing, he wandered into a graveyard where he spotted a grave that read, Ebenezer Lennox Scroggie, Mealman. Mealman. The title referred to Scroggie's career as a corn merchant, but Dickens misread it as mean man. Mean man. And he was left wondering what a man could do in this life to earn that title written upon his gravestone for all eternity. Now, to say that the story was a hit would be an understatement. Written in less than 2 months in 1843, published on December 19th of that year, it had sold out its entire run by New Year's. 13 editions had to be printed in 1844 alone. And the story, which the Victorians had dubbed a new gospel, is credited for popularizing both the phrases bah humbug and, more remarkably, Merry Christmas, which wasn't widely used before the story's publication. Okay, now here's the plan. We're going to ask you to take part in our story this afternoon. When you hear Scrooge utter his favorite phrase, bah humbug, let's give it back to him by saying bah humbug. Perhaps we can get the redoubtable Mr. Paul Berman to give us a sample.
Bah humbug!
Not bad, not bad. And we will also repeat a phrase made famous by Tiny Tim. God bless us, everyone. So, let's begin our little story of A Little Christmas Carol. the good days in the year on Christmas Eve, old Ebenezer Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, and he could hear the people in the court outside wheezing up and down, beating their hands upon their breasts, and stamping their feet upon the pavement stones to warm them. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. It had not been light all day, and candles were flaring in the windows of the neighboring offices. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, who was in a dismal little room beyond copying letters. Scrooge had a very small fire, but the clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like but a single coal.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew, Bob Cratchit, who had come upon him so quickly.
Bah! Humbug! Bah! Humbug, Uncle? I'm sure you don't mean that. I do. Merry Christmas. What right do you have to be married? What right do you have to be, what reason do you have to be married? You are poor enough. But come then, what right do you have to be so dismal? You're rich enough. Bah! Humbug! Bah! Humbug! Don't be cross, Uncle. What else can I be when I live in a world of fools such as this? Merry Christmas? Out upon Merry Christmas! What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills with no money? A time for finding yourself a year older, but not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding. Uncle, nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine. Keep it, but you don't keep it. Let me leave it alone then. Much good it may do you. Much good it has ever done you. But I've always thought of Christmas as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem by one consent to open up their shut-up hearts freely. And though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and I say God bless it. Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your job. Good afternoon. And a Happy New Year. Good afternoon. You'll want the whole day off tomorrow, I suppose. It's quite convenient, sir. It's not convenient, and it's not fair. And yet you think it's fair when I pay a day's wages for no work. It's only once a year. A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Huh. But I suppose you must have the whole day, so be here earlier all the next morning.
Bob promised that he would, and Scrooge walked out with a growl.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. For Jesus Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we are gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Scrooge arrived at his home and went straight upstairs to his bedroom.
Bah! Humbug!
After several turns, he sat down. As he threw his head back in the chair, his glance happened to rest upon a bell, a disused bell that hung in the room and communicated for some purpose now forgotten with the chamber in the highest story of the building. He saw this bell begin to swing. It swung so softly in the outset that it scarcely made a noise, but soon it rang out loudly, and so did every bell in the house. This might have lasted half a minute or a minute, but it seemed to last an hour. And the bells ceased as they began, together. They were succeeded by a clanking noise deep down below, as if some person were dragging a heavy chain. Scrooge then remembered to have heard that ghosts in haunted houses were often described as dragging chains. The cellar door flew open with a booming sound, and then he heard a noise much louder on the floors below. Then coming up the stairs, then coming straight towards his door.
It's humbug still. I won't believe it. I know. Jacob Marley's ghost. How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Why?
Ask me who I was.
Well, then.
Tonight, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Mercy. Dreadful apparition, why do you trouble me?
Do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must, but why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him shall walk among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life and is condemned to do so after death, it is doomed to wander the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared, and hope the happiness. Oh, no. Oh, I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I made it of my own free will. And of my own free will I will wear it. Would you know the weight and length of the strong chain you bear? It was full and heavy as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet hope and a chance of escaping my fate.
You are always a good friend to me.
Thank you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to avoid the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow night, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the following night at the last stroke of 12, as it has ceased to vibrate.
The apparition walked backward from him, and at every step it took, the window raised itself a little, so that when the ghost reached it, it was wide open, and the ghost floated out upon the bleak, dark night.
Bah! Humbug!
When Scrooge awoke, it was so dark that looking out of bed he could scarcely distinguish the transparent window from the opaque walls of his chamber. Marley's ghost had bothered him exceedingly. Every time he resolved within himself that it was all a dream, his mind flew back again to its first position and presented the same problem to be worked through all over again. Was it a dream or not? Light flashed up in the room upon the instant, and the curtains of his bed were drawn.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold me? I am. Who and what are you? I'm the ghost of Christmas past. Long past? No, your past. Rise and walk with me. But I'm immortal, unlike before. Touch my hand there, and you shall not fall.
The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it.
Know it? I was apprenticed here.
They went in. There, the sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig sitting behind such a high desk that if he had been 2 inches taller, he might have knocked his head against the ceiling.
Why, it's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig alive again.
Old Fezziwig laid down his pen and looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waistcoat, and let out a laugh.
Yo there, Richard Ebenezer. Richard Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me, yes, there he is, alive. He was very much attached to me. But poor Richard. Richard Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was poor Richard. Yo, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Richard. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson. Let's have plenty of room here. Clear away, my lads. Let's have lots of room. Small matter to make these silly folk so full of gratitude. Small matter? Why, is it not? He spent a few pounds of your mortal money. It isn't that spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gives us is quite as great as if it cost a fortune. My time grows short quick.
Again, Scrooge saw himself. He was older now, a man in the prime of life. He was not alone, but sat by the side of a fair young girl in a morning dress, in whose eyes there were tears which sparkled in the light that shone out of the ghost of Christmas past.
It matters little. Another idol has displaced me. And if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve. What idol has displaced you? A golden one, made of money. There is nothing which is so hard on life as poverty. The only way to overcome it is with the pursuit of wealth. Oh, Ebenezer, I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until your master passion, greed, overcomes you. Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you. Our marriage contract was noble. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. Ebenezer, you are so changed. I was a boy. The memory of what is past makes me hope it will be full of pain and regret for you. Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home.
Joy, joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Awaking in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore, Scrooge sat up in bed to get his thoughts together. When the bell struck one and no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. A ghostly light in the adjoining room seemed to shine. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. The moment Scrooge's hand was on the lock, a strange voice called him by his name.
Scrooge, come in, know me better, man. I'm the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
Scrooge reverently did so. This next ghost was clothed in one simple green robe, bordered with white fur. The ghost of Christmas present rose.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night and I learned a great lesson. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it. Touch my robe.
They stood in the city streets on Christmas morning, where the weather was severe, the people scraping the snow from the pavement in front of their dwellings, and also from the rooftops of their houses. But soon the steeples called good people all to church and chapel, and away they came, flocking through the streets in their finest clothes and with their happiest faces. The good spirit led him straight to Scrooge's clerk, and on the threshold of the door the spirit smiled and stopped to bless Bob Cratchit's dwelling with the sprinkling of his torch.
What has ever gotten into your precious father, then? And your brother, Tiny Tim? Martha was late last Christmas by half an hour.
In came Bob, and Tiny Tim upon his shoulder. Alas for Tiny Tim, he bore a little crutch and had his limbs supported by an iron frame.
Oh, bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are. Sit ye down behind the fire and have a warm. God bless you, and how did Tiny Tim behave? As good as gold and better. He told me coming home that he hoped the people saw him in the church because he was a cripple, and it would be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas Day. He who made the lame walk and the blind see. Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone. Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live. I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crotch without an owner. And if these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, no, kind spirit, say you will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other by race will find him here again.
The bell struck 12. Scrooge looked about for the ghost, but did not see it. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along the ground towards him. Slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for in the very air through which this spirit moved, it seemed to scatter gloom and misery. It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand. Scrooge felt that it was tall and stately when it came beside him, and that its mysterious presence filled him with a solemn dread. He knew no more, for the spirit neither spoke nor moved.
Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? You're about to show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spirit I have seen. I know your purpose is to do me good. Will you not speak to me? Lead on. The night is waning fast, and it's precious time to me.
The phantom had come towards him. Scrooge followed in the shadow of its dress, which lifted him up and carried him along. The spirit stopped beside one little knot of businessmen. Observing that the hand was pointed to them, Scrooge advanced to listen to their talk.
No, I don't know much about it either. I only know he is dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why? What was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
Oh, God knows.
What has he done with all his money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. But one thing he did not. Leave it to me. That's the only thing I know.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, my friend, for upon my life, I don't know of anybody to go to.
The phantom now led Scrooge to a churchyard overrun by grass and weeds. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one.
Before I go nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be? Or are they the shadows of things that may be?
Still the ghost pointed downward to the grave by which it stood. The spirit was immovable as ever. Scrooge crept towards it, trembling as he went, and following the finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, Spirit. Oh, no, no, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be. I will not be the man I must have been but for these visitations. Why show me all of this? If I am past all hope, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me I may wash away the writing on this stone.
Holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrank, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost.
Deck halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Stroll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. Fa la 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 la.
I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year to all the world. What's today, my fine fellow?
Why, Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Do you know the butcher shop and the next street on the corner? Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there?
What, the one as big as me?
Yes. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here. I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's. He won't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
Scrooge arrived early at the office the next morning. If he could only get there first, he'd catch Bob Cratchit coming in late. The clock struck 9. No Bob. A quarter past. No Bob. He was a full 18 minutes and a half behind his time.
Hello. What do you mean by coming here at this time of the day? I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
Yes, I think you are. Step this way, if you please now. Now I'm going to tell you, my friend, I'm going to not stand for this any longer. And therefore, I am about to raise your salary.
A Merry Christmas, Bob. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family, and we will discuss our future plans this very afternoon.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as that good old city ever knew. He had no further dealings with spirits. It was always said of him that he knew well how to keep Christmas well. May that be truly said of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.